All right. All right. We're back. We're back once again here with the fresh and funky Plays Parlay Sports Show. You know, I try to do it a little bit different than anybody else here. I just come from a, I wouldn't say I'm more experienced than other guys. Obviously people, depending on where you want to put your, put your pre-roll money where your mouth is. Some people love algorithms. Some people love statistics, analytics. Some other people's eye tests, and me just, you know, being bred on sports, as watching it as a young man, reading about it in the sports almanacs and sports histories, and reading about the greatest of all times teams in all types of sports. The sports landscape, we should say. I mean, that's for me landscaping. I used to do that for quite so many years, and then uh, decided, that's it was something I wasn't trying to pursue as a full time career. It was something that I definitely enjoyed. Enjoyed helping people, trim up their yard, making sure the trees are, are kept, trees, shrubs, bushes like roses, so they can come back and that way it looks beautiful, and we take care of nature, give back to nature, and try to be one with nature to help its balance. We got other people out here that would say other things, and I'm not trying to get all political, and that's the whole thing. It's not about being political. It's about standing your ground. It's about standing on what you stand for. Now, I don't know about you, but I just don't want people to just not respect my values. And I feel like that's part of it. There's people that don't care about your life. And there's other people that buy into the source of, well, it could change. We could change. We could have change. There's just, but what are we living for? What are we living? We're dying for. We're living to die. But what are we living to die for? That's the question you have to ask yourself deep down inside. And I know everybody asks themselves that. That's why there's always this deep, you know, what makes people tick. You know, it's the things they're able to do, is who they are. What makes them who they are. What allows them to be who they are. But you know, nobody comes here for philosophy or conversation. Most people come here for the sports, and I sit here and try to keep it on the topic of sports because you know there's some people that don't like when when you rattle the cage or rock the boat or poke the bear, as privileged speaking. Well, I feel like a lot of us have been poked, and woke the sleeping giant. And things happen. Whether we controlled it or not. Is that what we're living life to be? To control everything and control the ways of things? Or are we just living life to enjoy it, try to have some goodness and some peace and leave something behind? That's what having a children, having something, part of us still in this world, even though all of us will be out of this world or off this physical plane speaking. And again, I'm not trying to get into no spiritual or religious or anything like that. But there is a creator, and that's he, she, whatever God wants to be known as, named as, is that should be it. The blessing is that we all have the right to choose our lives. At least we assume we have it to choose our lives. But now it is being oppressed, and I know some people don't believe that, but that is what's going on. It's okay for some people to say their message, but we have to suppress others because we feel that it is deemed this What about if your speech can also be? That's the thing about freedom of speech. Once you take one person's right and freedom, now all rights and freedoms will be infringed upon. See, they play the mind games and trickery. Same thing as far as actors and sports here. We'll talk about some realism. These sports are all connected, and you see, all right, we got a helicopter out there. I mean, obviously, don't know what's going on here. I don't see anybody paratrooping down. They ain't coming to get me. But that's a joke. But it's a joke, sarcastic. But yeah, we have sports here to talk about. Let's not talk about all the seriousness here because again, I, I try to be a little bit of me mixed in with some sports. And the sports guys, they're the same, you know. Yeah, a lot of these guys, there's a lot of good guys out there that have good stories, and then there's a lot of other ones that whatever, just their choice of how they want to live their life. And we all make good and bad decisions and choices, and we have to accept the consequences for those. But be that may, we had week 1 of college football here, and it was fairly interesting, I should say. There was quite a few close games. A couple teams won because of a missed extra point. We had a touchdown at the end, and then a blocked field goal, and then last night, it was pretty slow going, to say the least. You know, Clemson being the number 4 team in the nation here didn't you know they allowed the Georgia Tech team to basically stay in the game for the most part until the second half, obviously. But that's what happens when week 1 of college football. Some teams are kind of more prepared depending on the matchups, and some teams you know got it going and rolled their opponents. Other teams, it was kind of a close matchup, and some teams got beat. And one team in particular is Virginia Tech. They lost to Old Dominion. Uh, Old Dominion here, they're pretty decent, I guess we'd say, as far as football. I'd say they're probably a better basketball, uh, known for more of basketball than football. But the only notable NFL player from Old Dominion right now is Tyler Heineke for the Washington Commanders. Fun fact is, I know a guy who ended up going to college with Tyler Heineke. His name is Mr. Vinzo Gaming. Well, that's his Twitch moniker. We'll just say. I don't want to, I don't know the guy's real name. Do I know? I'm like what's that? I'm like the Jason Statham character, the transporter. I don't know. I don't need to know this. I just only this. All right. Go by these set of rules here. You follow them, and that's all I need to know. All right. Everything else, I don't need to know. But anyhow, they ended up losing, and it's kind of tough for them here. And another team too that they really didn't play really well was Oregon, the Ducks. I mean, yeah, they were playing Georgia. Obviously, it was you know two top 25 teams ranked, and Oregon wasn't ready to play there. That's for sure. Oregon. But will Oregon bounce back? They probably should. They probably should be able to bounce back. But taking a devastating loss week 1 on the chin to Georgia. That stings a little bit. So, and you got number 7 Utah lost to Florida. Um, a lot of people didn't think the Gators were going to be good. Utah was number 7 ranked team. I mean, and hey, they played well. It wasn't like Utah laid down and got beat down. It was a really good close game, and Florida pulled it out in the swamp. So, so yeah, so yeah, it was a awesome week. And also the Ohio State team beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame played pretty well the first half, but got shut out basically the second half. Basically, didn't score any points and didn't really do too much second half. It was all it's Ohio State from there on. But at least they put up a fight. Cincinnati and Arkansas. That was a pretty solid affair, to say the least. And Arkansas ended up coming with a victory at home. So looking forward to week 2 here. Well, the headliner game is obviously Alabama and Texas coming to us. Noontime. Afternoon, lunchtime on Saturday. Obviously, if you're out here in the West Coast like myself, it'll be 9 a.m. So it'll be a nice breakfast game here, early morning breakfast game out there. You're out here on the West Coast, and and if you're even over in Hawaii out there, well, you can. The game's gonna be on at 6 in the morning. So yeah, you're definitely being breakfast time there. All right. So we'll break down some of the matchups here of the college here. Break down the college here. See what games we got going on. If we have any. All right. Well, obviously the notable game here is Alabama and Texas. Both teams are 1-0. We have Bryce Young versus Quen Errors. So, all right. Ohio State's playing Arkansas State. Miami Hurricanes are playing Southern Miss. We got Arkansas playing South Carolina, and Carolina's 1-0 here, so it should be a. We got number 23 Wake Forest on the road against Vanderbilt. It's 2-0 here. Vanderbilt's kind of the underrated, unsung. So we'll see about that here. NC State's taking on Charleston Southern after they basically squeaked by after East Carolina's kicker couldn't miss the extra point to tie the game. And we have Utah coming home to play Southern Utah. Then we have Marshall taking on Notre Dame. Marshall 1-0, but Notre Dame here coming off a big loss to Ohio State. They should be ready here. We got Furman, who's 1-0, taking on Clemson. Clemson comes home. We have Appalachian State here, who lost a heartbreaker. They lost a heartbreaker to the North Carolina Tar Heels here. We'll get a crack at number 6 Texas A&M, the Aggies here. A big game here at 12:30 West Coast time. Obviously, 3 o'clock, 3:30 Eastern. We have Tennessee, the Volunteers 1-0, going on the road to take on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh played a strong game against West Virginia here. West Virginia gave them everything here. So we shall we shall see a very interesting game of the weekend, along with that Texas and Alabama early games. We have Washington State taking on Wisconsin. Number 2 Georgia here taking on Samford here. Samford's 1-0. We have Michigan State taking on Akron. Both teams are 1-0 here. We got Houston. Houston held on against San Antonio, the Roadrunners here. They'll face the 1-0 Texas Tech Red Raiders at home in Lubbock. That'll be an interesting game to say the least. Kent State and Oklahoma. Ooh, we got number 20. Yeah, number 20. Kentucky, 1-0. Going down into Gainesville here in the Swamp. Take on the number 12 ranked Gators here. So the Gators got themselves ranked. Anthony Richards, he's been solid here at the quarterback helm here. We'll see how that goes up. As long as that's going to be a 7 Eastern game here. Going to be a night game here. Going to be a nightcap. But it'll be a early evening for us West Coast people. Then we have a USC Stanford matchup. 4:30, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 West Coast, out there in East Palo Alto.
Milk with your cereal with Fairlife. It's more.
No. So number 10 USC. Both teams are 1-0. Going to be interesting here. Then we have Arizona State going into Stillwater. Going down into Boone's Pickens Stadium here in Stillwater. Arizona State is 1-0. So is Oklahoma State. So that'll be a big matchup. And then Hawaii coming off basically a atrocious loss here. They're 0-2 here. It ain't getting any better going into Ann Arbor to play Michigan. So Michigan's probably going to run them here and roll them. And that game will be 5 o'clock Western, obviously 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, Mountain Time. Then you have a late game here out there in Provo. We have the number 9 Baylor Bears taking on the number 21 ranked BYU Cougars. Gonna be an interesting matchup here, to say the least. Here, both teams here are going to try to be explosive. Obviously, we have two interesting, good quarterbacks, but BYU at home is going to be tough here. I think be tough for Baylor, but I think Baylor's up for the task for a bit here. But I'm looking at a BYU win here, maybe. All right, let's see about any other good matchups here through the weekend here, or maybe. All right, Friday night we got Louisville Cardinals taking on Central Florida here, and then we got Boise State taking on New Mexico. New Mexico's 1-0 at home in Albuquerque, New Mexico here. Taking on their own one Boise State. Boise State lost to Oregon State here, so kind of a letdown in some ways here. And on Saturday here, we got a Missouri versus Kansas State matchup. Pretty good matchup. Missouri's in the SEC here. Used to be in the Big 12. Kansas State here. Look to be pretty well Then we have a Duke versus Northwestern matchup here. Battle of schools that high IQs. But both teams are 1-0. So one of these teams is gonna walk away with their first loss. Then we have Ohio taking on Penn State. Ohio's quarterback here, and the Nittany Lions here played tough on the road here, so we'll see how well. I mean, they're gonna be fired up to play in front of the home crowd here down in Beaver Stadium here. Uh, we have the Roadrunners last week losing here. Now they got to go all the way and face the Army up in West Point here. Army losing by 10 to Coastal Carolina. So can the Army get a first first victory of the season? Not hopefully not go 0-2 here, but that Roadrunner team is going to be pretty fast here. So we'll see if the Army can corral the Roadrunner this Saturday. Um, Colorado and Air Force. That also should be a interesting matchup. Obviously Colorado's in the Pac-12 will soon be. Well, they're gonna be going to I must say the Big 12 again. Back to the Big 12 like they should have been. And you got Air Force here. Interesting. Air Force is an interesting team here, to say the least. They're playing at home at the Academy. And then we have Memphis and Navy here. Memphis got embarrassed, and the Navy lost to Delaware. So the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium here. So maybe the Navy can come back here. But I don't know. Tough game. We have a UNLV against Cal Berkeley at the Memorial Stadium here. Cal is 1-0, beating Davis. UNLV here playing well, so it's going to be an interesting matchup to say the least. Then we got the Battle of Iowa here. Iowa Hawkeyes versus Iowa State. The Hawkeyes last week, they had two safeties and a field goal. Meanwhile, Iowa State pretty much ran away. So it will be an interesting matchup of, obviously in-state rivals. Going to be a lot of bad blood. Going to be, high stakes in that game. So definitely watch that game. That game's on at 1 o'clock West Coast time. Obviously, 4 o'clock East Coast time. And we have Alabama State and UCLA here. I mean, obviously, Alabama State is 2-0 here. A HBSU school here. And going down into Pasadena in the Rose Bowl to play UCLA. UCLA played very well against their last opponent. So it shall be an interesting matchup to see how well Alabama State, if they can keep this game close here and be competitive here, I think that gives them a chance here. If not, they're gonna get probably blown out. All right, we got Incarnate Word. They are 1-0 on the road, going up against 2-0 Nevada, the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack coming to Howell at McKay Stadium in Reno, Nevada. The Wolfpack have played fairly well to start the season here. Now, up against a low Division One school team here. This team, Incarnate Word, they're gonna want to come in here and they're gonna want to prove something here. So maybe a long shot I might look on betting on this weekend here, coming into Saturday here. We got Kansas taking on West Virginia. West Virginia lost a heartbreaker to Pitt here. So and Kansas, they basically blew out the team they were playing. So, but Mountaineers are going to be ready for this one here, and I mean maybe early Kansas stays competitive, but I don't know. I think this one definitely going to go all the way for the Mountaineers here. Then we have Old Dominion. They play East Carolina here. East Carolina, the team that doinked an extra point that cost them a chance to go to overtime and a chance to win against NC State, a ranked opponent. And Old Dominion won at home last week. So going to be an interesting matchup here to see if East Carolina can take care of Old Dominion or Old Dominion can continue to stay undefeated here. Then we have Gardner Webb taking on Coastal Carolina here. Obviously, one of these teams that Coastal Carolina was a good football team program last year. Got themselves into the actual into the Sun Belt Conference. So interesting matchup against Gardner Webb here, but should favor the Chanticleers. They beat Army here. Yeah. Then we have UAB taking on Liberty here. UAB, there was a couple years ago that they had a really good program there. They play really well now. They're trying to build on that back, and Liberty here, they're trying to do the same here and make a name for themselves and try to get some guys to come to the school. And all right, got Syracuse and UConn here. Sounds like a college basketball matchup, but don't be mistaken yourself here. This is a college football matchup now. We got UConn is 1-1. Syracuse is 1-0. And then Auburn at San Jose State here. Then got LSU taking on Southern here. All right. Georgia Southern against Nebraska here. And we have McNeese State taking on Boston College and Virginia Tech. Now that's going to be an interesting matchup as well. Both teams lost last week here. Boston College to Rutgers. See if Virginia Tech can come back and have in Oregon. They're playing Eastern Washington here. So Oregon State, Fresno State. Both teams are 1-0. Going to be an interesting clash. And out in the desert late night here, we got Mississippi State and Arizona here. Arizona went on the road and shocked everybody and beat San Diego State here. And Mississippi State, they rolled Memphis, so they're going to be on the road here. And in Tucson here. So it'll be Wildcat country out there, so I don't know. The Bulldogs better be careful. So yeah, let's see if any other games here maybe we missed here. That 1A. Let's go 1AA here. Make sure we're not missing out anybody here. We don't exclude anybody here. We're gonna do college first. All right. Oh, excuse me. Oh, had to Had to adjust the jewels. All right, we got Tennessee Martin and Missouri State here. Both teams are undefeated, playing in Springfield, Missouri. Playing Thursday night here. Should be an interesting matchup. Nonetheless. Then we have Assumption. 1-0 taking on Merrimack. You got Colgate and you have Maine. And then Bucknell, VMI here. Dayton and Youngstown State's going to be interesting, low. Many people don't know about here. And we got Missouri S&T taking on Drake. Both teams are on 1. And we got Morehead State taking on Montana State. We got North Carolina A&T taking on North Dakota State. Interesting matchup there. Indiana State against Purdue. I think Purdue will be up for the challenge there. Then we have a Northern Colorado taking on Wyoming. Mississippi Valley State, Jerry Rice's alma mater, taking on Austin Peay. We got James Madison taking on Norfolk State. All right, then we have a South Carolina State and Bethune-Cookman here. Both teams are 0-1 here, so St. Francis, PA, Richmond, Elion and Wolford, Holy Cross and Buffalo. Then you got Robert Morris taking on Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio should probably. We got Campbell. We got William and Mary. Should be an interesting battle there. 3 o'clock West Coast, 6 East Coast time here. Then we have the Battle of Delaware here. Both teams are 1-0. Delaware State going to play at Delaware and Newark, Delaware here. Delaware beat the Navy, so interesting bet there here. We got Tuskegee in Hampton. Hampton is 1-0 here. Tuskegee's 0-1. Then we got Rhode Island and Bryant. We have Jacksonville State 2-0 against Murray State here. We got South Dakota State and UC Davis. Well, both 0-1 here. We got Lindenwood against Houston Baptist. See, that was a team last week that Houston Baptist was a team that didn't win a game last season, and lo and behold, they they went out and they beat Northern Colorado here. So we got Grambling and Northwestern State here. Should be a good battle. Both teams are 0-1, but should be a hard fought battle. We got Townsend and Morgan State. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, Jackson State against Tennessee State. All right. Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium here in Memphis, Tennessee. All right. McNeese and Rice. I mean, it'll be interesting here in Houston. Ooh, we got Abilene Christian and Prairie View A&M. Ooh, interesting matchup there. With 1-0 teams. Utah Tech. St. George. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go to the NFL here. We got Thursday Night Football. Yes, Thursday Night Football. We have the Bills taking on the Rams. All right. Let's see here. All right, let's see. Tomlin confirms Trubisky as the number one quarterback. Okay, so Trubisky is quarterback number one for the Pittsburgh Steelers going into this weekend's game, as they'll be taking on Cincinnati Bengals. You know, obviously, game one against a divisional rival. Tomlin wanted to make sure it was known that Trubisky was quarterback one, and Kenny Pickett will be the backup here. So, gotta love that there. Also in Steeler country here, the Immaculate Reception here. The Pittsburgh Steelers are planning on retiring Franco Harris's number 32 number. So that will be an honor and an amazing thing to see. Because Franco Harris was an amazing athlete, an amazing man. And he still is. All right. The Bears released plans to build a best-in-class dome. So the Bears, you know, Soldier Field has been around. It's probably the longest standing NFL stadium that's still out there. So they definitely need a remake or something nice, you know, because the weather isn't so nice out there in Chicago, especially in wintertime. It gets blistery ass cold. It's not called the Windy City for no reason, right? It's bone chilling cold that will freeze you to your bones. Dawson Knox rejoining the Bills has eased the healing process. As many people don't know, Dawson Knox's brother Luke passed away this year tragically. He was a linebacker at the University of Florida International. So we hope that Dawson Knox had the time to celebrate his brother's life and to have peace with that, and the time, and that his brothers in Buffalo, they love him a lot, and I know they got a big game Thursday, and then hey, he'll be in their hearts and their minds. Whew. Amid taking criticism here, Pete Carroll is excited about the Seahawks here. I mean, you traded Russell Wilson, and you basically getting prospects and rebuilding and trying to. I mean, it's going to be tough. And then Russ is obviously coming back in the building that he obviously won you know games and now nicely Super Bowls. The franchise. And so obviously it's going to be a different looking Seahawks team. But obviously you have to have a plan. Obviously the plan is to go with Drew Lock and Geno Smith for this season, obviously, and then maybe next season, hey, maybe one of these young studs like Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or Spencer Rattler. These guys come out in the draft, and Seattle Seahawks have a chance to get one of those guys, and maybe they are the future of the franchise, and that they're going to build around. I mean, in their division here, it's competitive here. You got the Rams that won the Super Bowl and obviously lost Von Miller and this and that, but they added some pieces like Allen Robinson and this and that. So they're looking to defend their crown. And you had the 49ers that, came, eyelashes of being in that Super Bowl against the Bengals here. You got the Cardinals that want to build up on their playoff run last year, but Marquise Brown is going to be suspended. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is suspended for the first 6 games due to the PEDs, I guess. So Kyler Murray's going to be without his weapons, but they got a pretty great team out there. I think defensively, J.J. Watt and some of the young guys out there. I know they lost Chandler Jones, but I think moving forward, I think they'll be all right. They'll be. And so Seattle is that team in there. What's Seattle going to do? Are they going to be are they going to be Are they going to be last place? Are they going to be competitive? I mean, it's going to remain to see. But I definitely like some of the players that they have on that team going forward. If they could build upon that, and I think obviously trying to get a quarterback here. You know, and I'm surprised they didn't try to steal Jimmy G from the Niners and try to get him up there and put Jimmy G up there in that offense, and you know might be having a different story. All right, John Harbaugh here. Lamar locked in amid contract talks here. I believe that as well. I believe that Lamar knows he's going to get paid. He knows how this organization is run. It's run. You have Ozzie Newsome all the way down to and I'd say Pittsburgh has a really good organization that's run, and then you have basically I'd say the Ravens are ran pretty fairly well, where they have from the top, from the owners to the GMs to the coaches and staff, and so Aaron Donald's focused on Buffalo after the fight with the Bengals here. I don't know what people expect. They must think that Aaron Donald must be Mr. Huggable, lovable teddy bear, but Aaron Donald is a beast of a man, and the man wants to show he's tough, and he's not gonna take nobody's crap, and he ain't gonna be nobody's. And do I think Aaron Donald's some malicious guy? Do I think he's like a Dominic Sue? No, but I think these guys, they have to have a type of mean streak in them, when they're going out there trying to get, and people are trying to bully them and knock them down and stop them too. So it's I don't I don't I don't much blame him. On the Packers, David Bakhtiari is on track to start versus the Minnesota Vikings, so that's good news for those Packer fans out here. Obviously the offseason's been about Devontae Adams leaving and Aaron Rodgers just so But I still think the Packers are going to be a valuable team. I think defensively they pick up some good young guys defensively here, and as long as they can have a stout defense here, I think Aaron Rodgers will keep them in there, and Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon here will help out Aaron Rodgers as long as both of them stay healthy as much as they can. And I think that Alan Lazard will step into the Devontae Adams role, and then some of these other young guys are going to have to follow in suit. Who will that be? That remain to be seen here. Will be Justin Watson, will be these young kids here. Will be Romeo Dobbs here. Obviously they still have Robert Tunyon is always going to be getting a lot more involved here since Adams is gone too. So I just wouldn't write off the Green Bay Packers as, oh, well, just because they lost Devontae, that means that they're going to be less dangerous here. Obviously, they can be more dangerous because now, everybody kind of knew Devontae Adams, you shut him down, and everybody else, whatever. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the guy that watches football sometimes, just analyzes the film, looks at how they be playing in the preseason. What's the teams looking like here. Just kind of what moves did they made? Did they cut anybody? Did they pick up anybody here? Is there any high ceilings and any room to improve? So yeah, obviously we got the Buffalo Bills and we have the Los Angeles Rams game. We have that Thursday here at 5:20 Pacific time, obviously 8:20 Eastern time here. The NFL kickoff this season here. And you got Josh Allen and you got Matthew Stafford here. I mean, tomorrow and into the coming days, we'll talk more about it. But I really like Stafford a lot. I have a lot of respect for Stafford because, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, he played so many years in that division with the Lions and fought tooth and nail. And like a lot of times people say, well, in that division, the team that you probably hate the most would be Green Bay. Yes, yes, so much. Yes, I hate. But it's not a hate to where I hate those people, this and that. It's a hate that, hey, I want to beat these guys, so we have the bragging rights more or less. But I rooted a lot for the Lions here. Obviously, I loved Barry Sanders a lot. Barry Sanders was a great running back. Growing up, watching him just be elusive and just being a small guy and just taking something and just just making it amazing. Just it was like I didn't never got to really see Walter Payton and Gale Sayers in their time, but that's basically what Barry Sanders was. You know, so I mean I know I maybe be overstepping my boundaries by comparing Barry Sanders and saying that he has Walter Payton and Gale Sayers in him, but I just feel like that's the comparison that I see, and I see DeAndre Swift, a little bit of Barry and DeAndre Swift here being a a shifty guy here, and obviously Detroit trying to get better now here, and Stafford obviously with the Rams winning the Super Bowl and being around McVay and all those guys, and having Cooper Cup now here, and OBJ here, and Van Jefferson, and now they had Allen Robinson now. I mean, you got Cam Akers, you got Daryl Henderson Jr. here. I mean, the Rams are ready. They're ready to defend this title here. But you got the team that's like the Bills. They're hungry here. See, the Rams have already been to the mountaintop here, and I think Josh Allen is that guy that he's motivated, and I think a lot of people wrote him off, and I think he utilizes that like Tom Brady did, and he's in channeling that, and he's getting better every year, and they're just building upon that, and I just think this year the Bills have a ripe opportunity to really, you know, ascend and hey, because hey, they I mean their Achilles heel has always been the Kansas City Chiefs and beating Patrick Mahomes, and I think this year they have a really good chance to. I mean, Mahomes they lost obviously they lost Tyreek Hill, but I think they've gotten pretty good as far as the defense solidifying that here. It's going to be a new look kind of offense a little bit here, but still got Travis Kelsey there and all that. But I think at the end of the day here, the Bills getting the right guys, bringing Von Miller up there. I think that I mean he has that Super Bowl swag there here. He's got two Super Bowls now, one with the Broncos and one with the Rams, and who knows? Can he make it three? I don't know. Could he possibly be the first player to win three Super Bowls with three different teams? I mean, I don't know if that's happened where a player's gone to three different teams and actually won Super Bowls with three different teams. We all know Brady has done it. He's won with the Patriots and then he won one with the Buccaneers. So all right, so yeah, we got that. We have that game. We have the Patriots taking on the Dolphins. We have the Ravens and the Jets. We have Steelers and the Bengals. We got the Colts and Texans here. We have the Jaguars and the Commanders. We have the Niners and the Bears. We have the Eagles and Lions. We have the Saints, Falcons. We have the Browns, Panthers. We have the Giants, Titans. We have Raiders, Chargers. We have Packers, Vikings. We have Chiefs and Cardinals. We have Buccaneers and Cowboys, and we have Broncos and Seattle Monday night. So got a good laundry list of games, and like I said, tomorrow and into Thursday, we'll really start to break down. We'll break down the other games here. Today, I want to kind of get some base. We'll get into the baseball. We'll get into our parlay picks here. I want to talk a little bit about fantasy. Talk about my fantasy teams here. Break down my teams, kind of seeing where and how and why. All right, so one game has been postponed for today. That is the Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees. All right. All right. Then we have the Mets taking on the Pirates here. We have the Red Sox taking on the Rays. We have Marlins and Phillies. We have the Blue Jays and the Orioles. We have the Reds and the Cubs. We have the Nationals and the Cardinals. We have the Guardians and the Royals. We have Rangers and Astros. Brewers, Rockies. Tigers, Angels, Diamondbacks, Padres. Braves and A's. We have White Sox, Mariners. And we have the Giants and Dodgers. And we got a double hitter. So there'll be a double hitter tomorrow. So we're gonna probably have two double hitters tomorrow. So we're gonna have a lot of double hitter baseball tomorrow here. Some double hitter matinee baseball here. Giants mashed 5 home runs in the win over Dodgers. Hey. Yep, and exactly the wild card race is heating up here. And let's kind of look into that here. Let's look at as far as the standings go here. We want to see who is exactly making in the wild card here. All All right. First we'll run down the divisions here. We'll start with the American League here. We have the New York Yankees are 81 and 54 here. They have a 5-game lead over the 75 and 58 Tampa Bay Rays. But also behind them is the 75 and 59 Toronto Blue Jays, who are on a roll. But then behind them, you have the 71 and 64 Baltimore Orioles here. And then the 67 and 69 Boston Red Sox. I mean, if the Red Sox can win 2 more games, I think this is the only division with actually every team will be above 500, which is interesting here. We have the Cleveland Guardians at 69 and 64 with a 1-game lead over the Minnesota Twins at 68 and 50, 68 and 65. Then we have the Chicago White Sox with a 68 and 67. Then we have the Kansas City Royals 55 and 81. And then you have the Detroit Tigers 51 and 84 here. Then we go to the West here where you have the Astros 87 and 48. Then you have the Mariners 76 and 59. Then you have 59 76. Los Angeles Angels and 58 76 Texas Rangers. And then you have 50 and 85 Oakland A's here. Abysmal to say the least here. All right, then we go to the National League here. The National League East here, we have the New York Mets with an 85 and 50 record. They have a 1-game lead over the Atlanta Braves here. The Atlanta Braves are 84 and 51 here. Then you have the Philadelphia Phillies that are 73 and 61 here. So then the Marlins are 55 and 78. Then you have the Washington Nationals 48 and 87 here. Then we go to the Central where we have the St. Louis Cardinals are 79 and 56. They have a 7.5-game lead over the Brewers. Brewers are 71 and 63. Then you have the Cubs 56 and 78. Then the Reds 53 and 79. You have the Pittsburgh Pirates 49 and 84 here. So basically the Nationals are the worst, then the Pirates, then the Athletics, and then the Tigers. We have the West, the Dodgers are 92 and 42. They have a 19-game lead over the Padres, which have a record of 74 and 62. Then you have the San Francisco Giants 65 and 68. And the Diamondbacks are 65 and 69. And then you have the Rockies 57 and 79. So obviously here, obviously here. Obviously, we got the Rays here. Then you had the Mariners. Then you had the Blue Jays here, but the Blue Jays and Mariners. The Mariners have one more win than the Mariners here. Then you have the Orioles, and then you have the Twins. So these are the 4 teams fighting for the American League wild card. Tampa Bay Rays, the Seattle Mariners, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Baltimore Orioles. Then we have out in National League, we have the Atlanta Braves. Then we have the Phillies. Then you have the Padres, and then you have the Brewers. So basically, those 4 teams are chasing the wild card here. In the American League, it is really tight here. I mean, you got basically the Rays, Mariners, and Blue Jays are all within a game of each other here. So it's going to be a three-headed crazy race there. Yeah, Blue Jays play a lot of one run baseball here. See, that's something to look at too. Same thing with the see Guardians are better day team than they are night team. Man. Same thing with the Twins. Same thing with the White Sox here. Royals are better night team here. Yeah, see, Red Sox are better night team here. Same thing with the Orioles. I mean, the Blue Jays, kind of a better day team a little bit. Yankees are better day team than night team. Rangers better night team. Same thing with. I mean, Astros are day team here. Day team Mets. Night. 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 They're night team. So yeah. So alright, well. So that only leaves what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So at least 14 games on the plateau today. So let's go and check that out here. As far as let's check out what's the odds here. Check out what are the betting odds here today as far as our all right. First game, we got the Mets and we got Pirates here. Obviously, Pirates are the underdogs, as they should be. All right, we got the over/under is 8.5 runs. Okay, interesting. Then we have the Red Sox and the Rays here. Rays are home favorites here. 8 runs. Okay. Then we have the Marlins and the Phillies here. Phillies are favored on the run line here. 7 runs. Okay. Then we have Blue Jays and Orioles here. Orioles are favored at home here. Runners 9 runs. We have the Reds and the Cubs. Cubs are favored at home. The runners 8. And we have the Washington Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals are favored at home, as they should be. Runners 8. The Rangers and the Astros. Astros are home favorites, as they should be. And the over-under is 7.5. We have the Guardians and the Royals. The Guardians are favored on the run line, as they should be in the under 7.5. Then we have the Brewers. They're favored in Colorado, and the over-under is 11. We have the Tigers and the Angels. Angels are favored. Over-under is 8.5. Then we have Diamondbacks and Padres. Padres are favored on the run line. The over-under is 7. And we have the White Sox and the Mariners. Mariners are favored on the run line, 7.5. Then we have the Braves and the A's. Braves are favorite on the road, 8. 8 runs. And, well, the Giants and the Dodgers game is locked currently, so that makes 13 games. 13 games to bet here. All right. Alrighty, alrighty then, alrighty then. Usually me and my sister, we make our parlays, but I'm going to wait for her, so maybe we'll have to keep our parlays off here. I mean, plays today, I would say that if I was doing my own here, um, let's say I would probably take the Phillies at home here on the run line here. That'd be the Blue Jays have been the Blue Jays have been playing really good right now. The Blue Jays bats are but I like the Orioles here, so I would take the run and a half. I would take that the Orioles would cover the run and a half here. The Phillies. And the Reds and Cubs. I would take the. My play here would be. I don't like it a lot, but my play would probably be Reds on the money line. I don't know. And then we have Cardinals and Nationals here. I'm a Johnny Cueto guy here, so I like the under 8 here. And then we have the Rangers and the Astros here. Rangers and the Astros. I kind of like the over 7.5 runs there. I like that. I think that's valuable here. And Guardians and Royals here. I like the over 7.5 in this game as well here. I think that bodes well here. And then we have the Brewers and we have the Rockies here. I like the under 11 here. Interestingly, I like the under 11 here. Let's see, Tigers and Angels here. Like I said, not a big favor of either one of these games here. So we'll go to the next game here. We got Diamondbacks and we have Padres. See, Diamondbacks ended up winning yesterday. And They kind of want to say under 7 here. I mean, I like to take the under 7, but they've been cashing over. So I like the over 7 in the Diamondbacks Padres game. And then Mariners kind of disappointed me the other day here. But I like Logan Gilbert here, so I would venture to say that the Mariners get one here tonight here. I take them on the money line here. And then we have the Braves and we have the Athletics here. Um, I mean, do I have confidence that the A's can cover here? Or do I think there's gonna be more than 8 runs here? I'd be the guy that's gonna say plus the 1 run here. I'd say the A's will keep it close here. And I'd say the Dodgers. So stayed away from the Mets and Pirates here. Really. We stayed away from the Red Sox and Rays here. I mean, love to take the Rays on the run line, but I don't know. So the Phillies on the run line here. We take the Orioles, take the Reds, take the under 8, the over 7.5, the over, and the Astros and Rangers, the over 7.5, the Guardians and Royals. Both those games have to go over 8 here. And then the under 11, and then we stayed away from Tigers and Angels. Went over 7 here. It's got to go over 8 here. And then we took Mariners money line, and then we took the A's on the run line there. And that's what my plays are here. And if I had to like synchronize, like cut it down into a parlay here, I'd probably definitely keep the Phillies in there. The Orioles one, I might phase that. I might phase that one out here. The Reds, I'd probably keep that one in. Um, the Cardinals and Nationals here under 8 here. I probably would cut that one out as well. Let's see here. If I did this, and then if I or take out the Rangers here. Guardians and Royals have been. I mean, that's what I would do. If I was to make a 17 parlay, I'd put Phillies on the run line to win by a run and a half minus 101. I would take Cincinnati Reds on the money line here plus 130 plus 135. That's not being my best thing there. I take the team total over 7.5 minus 106 in the Guardians and Royals. I would take the team total under 11 runs minus 104 in the Brewers and Rockies. I would take the over 7 runs in the Diamondbacks and Padres minus 120 here. I'd take the Mariners money line minus 153 and the Oakland A's to cover and lose by a run and a half, 119. That'd be. that would be my parlay for the day. So we had a minute. We were on here for an hour and 15 minutes. So we're gonna get up off here and we're gonna see, if there's games. We got games coming on here about an hour and a half, and then we'll definitely talk about fantasy football tomorrow. We'll get into the Bills and Rams a little bit more, or dive into some college games that I like, break down some early numbers and some early picks here that we're going to be looking at here. So we're back at it like we always should be, but hey, sometimes I feel like doing it, sometimes I don't. I'm not somebody that's paid or you know, like I said, sports is what it is. There's ways to make money and shit off of it, but I'm not the one making money off it. If I did, I certainly wouldn't be sitting on fucking YouTube talking to myself. And that's basically what it is. I mean, I'm literally talking to myself all the time. And does it make me crazy? No, not really. But do I care to have like a bunch of people that want to be worshipped or some weird shit? No, definitely not. Definitely not. All right. So let's get out of here on a good note. It's hot. It's hot in California, so we're trying to stay cool. So, but you ever elsewhere, take it easy. Have a blessed and wonderful day, and be better, not bitter.